Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a look at another brand new addition to the Forza series, which is this Kia EV6 GT. To unlock the Kia EV6 GT, you need to complete 80 points overall over the 4 weeks of the Modern Horizons Festival playlist. So I didn't actually do loads in the first week in summer, so in autumn, as you can see, I've done 52 points worth by doing, well, pretty much everything to unlock this thing. But if not, don't worry, there is still winter and spring to unlock it if you haven't gone and got yours yet. The introduction of the EV6 marks the return of Kia as a brand in Horizon, previously seeing the Stinger in Horizon 4, which I still hope to see return to this game eventually. As you probably already guessed based on the name, the EV6 is another electric vehicle, which means it weighs over 2 tons with a total curb weight of 2,175 kilos. To be fair, it is a larger vehicle than the Hyundai Ioniq 5 that I looked at the other day and complained about the weight of, but it still makes no sense for a crossover of this size to weigh so much. It just takes so much energy to move something that big and heavy around. And in-game you can really feel the weight, particularly when braking and turning into corners. It's not at all pleasant to drive in the turns. Being electric though, it is all-wheel drive, as all electric cars should be, to be honest. It produces 577 horsepower and 740 Nm of torque, putting it in A-Class at 719 from standard, and also making it pretty swift in a straight line. There are actually several manufacturer colours for the Kia. There's the sort of satin silver that it comes in, there's a white, a blue, a grey and a red. None of them though are particularly interesting, so I'm going to do what I haven't done for a while and put my custom purple colour on it. Over in the upgrade shop, there's actually more than you might expect. There's your usual platform and handling options, including weight reduction, which can bring weight down to 1,702 kilos. There is your usual drivetrain options, driveline and diff. You can of course change your tyre compounds, tyre widths and track widths. But if we get to aero and appearance, there is a body kit, as well as Forza Aero. But I'm going to quickly put all of these on, because why not? And this is what the Kia looks like with all of those body kit parts applied. And as well as that, you can bring power up to 750 horsepower from the stock 577 by putting in a race motor. As ever, at this point I went in search of some tunes, finding a few A-Class options, including a couple of tunes from K1Z Bard, the one that I opted for making use of the custom aero kit. I then joined for the final race of an adventure at the Tierra Prospera circuit, where I fell pretty much to the back of the field, and a few people left the race, eventually giving me a rather disappointing 5th place finish. Anyway, I wrote off that as a practice race and headed into a full set of 3 races, kicking things off at the Marigold Sprint, where a Civic very quickly decided not to turn for a corner, and I don't even know what happened to the remaining 2 cars, but somehow I found myself in the lead, where I stayed until the finish. To my surprise, the Kia had actually won something, although not really any of that down to my driving. Next we headed to the Plaza circuit, which was an incredibly boring drive all by myself, eventually seeing the Kia finish 3rd out of 4 cars. And finally, last up was the Aerodromo Sprint, where predictably somebody forgot about the existence of the first corner, giving me 2nd place briefly before I was overtaken by a Honda. The Honda then caught up to a Nissan Titan, and after much violence between the two of them, I had an opportunity for an easy overtake and 2 free positions were taken. I then had a couple of corners of great battling against that NSX, but in the end the Kia's straight line speed gave me another victory. So in fairness, the Kia had won half of the races I had taken it into, but it wasn't a nice car to drive, a bit like the Hyundai we took a look at the other day. You can still really feel its weight, it is just too heavy, and it's nowhere near as fast as anything that I would usually use to race in A-Class. I suspect then that this is another one that after the video will end up reverted back to stock and then put away in my garage and never used again. And that is going to do it for today's video, taking a very first look at the Kia EV6 GT here on Forza Horizon 5. It's kind of nice to see Kia return, although I would have preferred to see the Stinger, so hopefully we'll see that come to the game at some point. From standard, as with a lot of electric cars, it's incredibly fast in a straight line, but it just weighs too much, so in the corners it's pretty horrendous, and that's kind of what held it back, even with the tune applied in online. It's just still too heavy, which seems to be the case with all EVs in this game. It is though one of the cooler electric vehicles out there, but I don't think as cool as what's coming in a couple of weeks, the Taycan Cross Turismo. As ever though, do let me know your thoughts on this brand new addition to the Forza series, but for today's video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next one very soon.